But why is that? Is because you're invested in it?
I think so. I think I get emotionally connected, and it's also very personal. If something doesn't work, that realization of like, oh shit, maybe this is not a good idea, or I don't know how to make this work, or
Yeah, I feel you. But that's not healthy at all, is it? Because I also
no.
put so much of myself in project, and when someone's saying, what is this piece of junk, then you take it personally instead of separating
Very,
yourself from the
yeah.
yeah. If I tell you Clue is a piece of junk, which it's
I
not, you will come after me.
Yeah, I would jump into this screen at this moment, and it might be shit for you. That's totally normal. You don't have maybe multiple different accounts or apps and etc. But it's very hard to see things more realistically.
Let's try again. Good morning, Sandra.
Good morning, Dan.
How are you?
What was that? Something happened for a second. There was multiple different voices and quite deep.
Yes. It was my clone. We worked together on multiple projects. The Twitter app lagged very badly, so I don't know, but I saw it lag, and then I heard my voice as well, and then now it's good. How are you?
Okay, ask me where I am.
Okay, where are you?
I am in a sunny place, Dan.
South?
It's sun. It's sea. It's okay. I haven't seen many people, but the ones I saw were smiling.
So that far south, where people are actually happy about everyday life.
I think they act very well.
So okay, where is it? Tell me, am I visiting there, or are we
Yes.
all moving there? Yeah. How is it?
So
How is it to live there? Like, what is the pricing? Are there a lot of indie hackers? Tell us everything.
So we are on the tour for Morning Maker Show in the past 2 weeks. It has been absolutely amazing. Met really lovely people. Right now we are in Croatia, in Dubrovnik, lovely city. There is 5,000 gamers at the moment in Croatia, actually in Dubrovnik. Our taxi driver told me that. I don't know if
That's
it's
a random. It's a very random fact that you know.
I know,
What?
but I feel like gamers could be easily turned into indie hackers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Actually, before working on my own projects, I thought, like, when I heard indie, I thought about a game developer.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Yeah, but game developers and gamers are not necessarily the same thing, but close enough.
Or like indie games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one thing is to play them.
The
other thing is to make them, I think.
Yeah.
So how long are you there? Are you moving there? What's going on?
Well, hopefully I will stay here forever. But unfortunately, I'm going back on 3rd of May.
Got it. So just a short in and out, making sure that the goats are fine there. Like, if we need to retire that this is an appropriate location.
Yeah.
Checking off some of properties and then coming back. Got it.
Yeah. It's really important to find the right land where the goats will feel comfortable, but in the same time, we will feel comfortable to build and ship good products. So yeah, I am exploring.
Well, thank you for doing the service for everyone in the indie maker community.
No problem. We just need the land, good sponsors, and that's it.
Yeah, pretty much. I think we already had some people that said, if you have the land and the house, I can bring the goat, and it's gonna be a community project for sure.
I feel like we all need this. We all need to have that safe house, to rent.
Right. The plan B, yeah. There were some scary tweets today regarding, I think, Dimitro Krasun and John Roche. They both put some gloomy tweets, but also, showing some of the hard parts of this where they were like, this stuff is not fun some days. You have 10 hours, different time zones. You need to be online. You get a DDoS at 4 a.m. and then, then you start thinking about the gold bar. So thank you for looking that up.
No problem. No problem.
So did you have a productive week? Did you ship something cool? What's going on?
Yeah, I had a very productive week. We pushed desktop app for Clue, and that was kind of like a big deal. I think it's very interesting because like from the beginning, we wanted to make Clue accessible as possible. And then we went with the web app, which wasn't that accessible, but we needed to figure that thing out. And then we went with Chrome extension, which is also has its own limitation. And now I feel like we are finally at the right place.
So
at the right time.
So what's different in the app? What's new?
There is certain things that are different just regarding the search, like how we are showing the search, what you can see, like the dates and the senders, and you can download the attachments, you can join your Google Calendar, you can join like your upcoming events from Clue itself. And it's just like a command thing. So it's much more accessible to people.
So is there like the spotlight on Mac, something like that? Yeah,
pretty much like a spotlight on Mac, but for your cloud-based apps. And the best part about Clue is that you can connect multiple different accounts, and that pretty much means, let's say you have different Gmails, you can connect all of them into Clue plus your multiple different Gmail, Google calendars, and etc. So connecting all of these apps into one place, and like Clue acts pretty much as your spotlight, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I for some reason, I think I have like 3 or 4 Gmails, maybe more. And sometimes actually it was in the situation where I literally couldn't remember on what email I sent something, and I was looking for this. So it's a super cool solution. And probably I'm not the only one having this. Do you look into some sort of analytics? Do you know how many people have like a bunch of Gmail accounts and a bunch of like essentially duplicate accounts?
Oh, you are good with your few Gmails. I have users that have like 10 Gmails and multiple Notion accounts, and like it sums up to 20 something different accounts from different
on
apps.
One user.
Yeah. So these are like quite crazy.
All right. Well, for me, my week was super busy. I also had some health stuff in the middle of it, so that kind of threw me off. It was like nothing too big, but it was almost a day at the doctor. So yeah, it was a priority. It was good to get it done. But at the same time, I set these expectations where I want to do this much every day, and then I have some goals. And then when I don't reach the goals, I stress myself out, although no one's putting this pressure on me. So yeah, now I need to take a step back and reset the goals and basically say, okay, it didn't work out. I had more important things to do. And now I'm just going to start a new week, new goals, new everything. And it's all going to be good. Like I noticed when you don't have someone that sets the deadlines, when you set the deadlines to yourself, you tend to put way too much pressure. You tend to set high expectations, and then for no apparent reason, you will be super stressed. Maybe you have a similar thing. We talked about it in the past, where you set some goals for a week and then life happens, and then you feel like you haven't reached your goals, but those goals weren't really that important to begin with. It was just something you set yourself. Do you ever go through that?
Absolutely. I've been planning to do my technical side of SEO for a while now. I keep failing and failing and failing over and over again. I mean, I think we are really optimistic when it's starting of a week. And I think we love to put as many things on that to-do list as, just to fill it in, to feel better, because we have those 15 minutes of being super optimistic. And then by the Wednesday, there is certain realization that most of the things on the list will not probably be done.
Yeah.
And then it hits us really hard. I think being more realistic, lower expectations.
I think you had this advice before. Basically, no expectations. Then you cannot disappoint yourself.
Yeah, it's always something similar. Like I do multiple different things for me. There is, you know me as marketing-ish person, but there's multiple different things that my brain goes to during the day. So I wouldn't be able, if I would have to concentrate only on marketing or only on admin stuff or whatever, I really need to set up my goals in a real level. I cannot trick myself. Otherwise, it would be impossible to catch up.
Yeah, because you do 5 jobs, or how many, pretty much.
There are different things that you have to circle back.
Well, some days it's accounting, some days it's design, some days it's product, some days it's marketing, some days it's sales, some days it's
accounting. My favorite one.
Yeah. Yeah, you love accounting, don't you?
I love accounting. I love a good accountant, yeah.
You love a good account? Or what?
A company that accounting.
Okay, good. Yeah. No, I mean, a good account is an account with money, so I guess you also love that.
I love that too as well.
All right. Well, let's jump into some updates. I haven't seen anything from the community besides the 2 gloomy tweets today from Dimitro and John. So let's have some happy ones, huh?
Yes, give me happy. Matthias. Friday #build in public. Implementing a new design for Branding 5 from the amazing Alex. Sneak peek. Wow. We have Alex and Matt working together.
This is a super cool collab. Sandra, will you tell people, I know what it is, but will you tell people what Branding 5 is?
Actually, I tried Branding 5 at the beginning, and I found a great definition for Branding 5. It's kind of a version only for branding. It leads you from the beginning until the end. You don't have to know what branding is. You just need to know that it's super important.
Oh, I love that. So it's it's essentially but I like that. And it's true, but also I got the feeling that if you're a little bit bigger and you do this for a lot of people, more in the design side or strategy side, you can also use it to do client work, a lot of client work, and use it as a baseline. But I like what you said as well, because for us, that we have to do 5 jobs. Obviously, we're not extremely good at any of them. Speaking for myself, I think I'm about average at all of them.
I think it's brilliant.
No, okay, thank you. But you know what I mean. There are some things that you can't be good at, or maybe most things. And this one kind of solves the branding and positioning side, which is pretty clever.
Yeah. At least for the indie makers who are just getting into and want to position themselves already from the beginning, I think this is amazing start. But I also like what you said. If you are working with multiple different clients, this can definitely be a good push for you.
Yeah. And can I just say, I love the collaboration spirit, and Alex working with Matt, 2 longtime members of the Building Public community doing projects together. I love to see that, don't you?
Yeah. And it's interesting. I love how, I don't know if you noticed that or not, but I love how certain people in community have positioned themselves or build the branding around themselves. Like Alex in this case, I know if I need something regarding the design, I know who I'm going to contact. And then I love what Lera is doing, with all the video things, because everyone in community knows that if they need some kind of video, they know that Lera is here, So it's super nice to see that people that they have already kind of formed themselves in the community and everyone knows who to reach out.
Yeah, exactly. You have the animation person, the video person, the design person, the marketing person, you, which you are, well, you're many people, but marketing, but first and foremost, you are the product hunt person. It's still our product hunt person.
Forever.
All right, let's pick up another update, Mrs. Marketing Person.
Carlos Vizela. I don't know. Hey, hashtag build in public. I collected a list of more than 200 places to post your startup and get your first paying customers. Like, repost, comment, and we'll DM you with the list. 200 places.
A lot of places. That's a lot of places. I wonder how this works. Like, is it directories or? Like,
I just wanted to ask you for a second. Can you go into video and stop so we can see what is on the list actually?
Yeah, directories.
Oh, yeah.
So let's see some examples. GetUp.com, Launch.io, Postmake.io, SaaShub.io. So do you think if you go through a lot of these, you will actually get paying customers? Like, what is there like a good chance to do that? I'm just genuinely curious to know. Depends on the product.
I've done something similar. I'm not gonna lie, I've done something similar. I have a list of 300 of them actually. I've shared it to many people. Do I think it's valuable? I don't know. It depends on the product. Probably 200 places doesn't mean that your product will fit all of these 250 places. There is higher probability that it's going to fit only like 10 places. Mm-hmm. Each of these channels deserve their own time or like requires their own time just to submit and understand and etc. If you do want to like get more, you do need to invest more time than just submitting. So will it get more first paying customers? I mean, it depends what's on the list. I bet there is product hunt on that list and I bet there's multiple different things. So again, if it fits for your product, it might bring you something, but you really need to filter these things out.
Yeah, not all of them are equal.
Yeah.
But I also think if you have an AI app and you land on one of the big AI directors, like there is an AI for that.
Yeah.
You might actually get paying customers out of it.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of them where you never will because they're just like massive index of all the companies in the world. And you maybe get a little bit of SEO something, but also not for all of them.
So,
yeah. But ultimately, if you can do it, I wouldn't say and not spend much time. You need to spend some time, as you say, you need to maybe think about how you make the post. But if you can spend the day and put, I don't know, 20, 30 of these, it's probably worth it. But I wouldn't like put too much hope in it. Like, if something good happens, then great. And then if it doesn't happen, then, well, I just lost the day.
Yeah. It's very tricky. It's very tricky.
Yeah.
I can see it's a Notion page. So hopefully you can filter out what is interesting for you, because sometimes I feel that we lose more time just going through all of these documents and finding what's good for us, what's not. So, yeah.
Very well. I can take the next one by Matthew Turley. He's saying, I noticed a lot of people clicking on design on the H1 of my new site. So I decided to add a little animation. What do you think? It's a really cute animation, like a square moving around a little bit. I wonder why. I think when people click on text, they do it to highlight, to read it easily. Like I saw some people do this as a habit, so they know where they are in the text, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And I do something similar. I start highlighting things where I am.
Yeah.
There are a few colors. Very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I dig it. Attention to detail. I had a few posts this week. Like this week, I was working on fonts and themes and stuff like that. And I have this huge problem with things needing to be very, very, I say, very polished, essentially. So I spend way more time than I should, and that's I was talking earlier about not meeting my goals for this week. Well, that's one reason, besides all the other stuff, and that's because I want it to be good. Like I want it to be, the Ferrari of user interfaces. I cannot, I cannot have it otherwise. And some people said, well, don't feel bad about it because that's also what could differentiate you. So maybe that's one thing. And then this small interaction shows that you care about what you make and you care about attention to detail. And then in some places that counts for a lot, depending who you're working with. In some other places, they only care about speed and execution, in the sense that if you get the job done, whoever does it the fastest is the best choice for the job, right?
I think we are moving away from that. I really like one thing that people need to know about Dan, the passion that he has towards details and the products is something very inspiring. Dan, you actually quite influenced that in me. And I think you should cherish that and love that and share more about it, actually.
Oh my God, you're melting my heart, Sandra. Thank you so much.
But I'm not melting your heart when I'm speaking truth.
You are melting it. Look, it's all melted. It's on the table. Well, I can't help it. I don't know. I just, I think it's a little bit how I am, but I like things to be nice. So this looks cool. I wonder how he knew that a lot of people are clicking on the H1. Maybe a little bit of post hog.
I think so too. I think someone was recording a little bit.
Who posted this tweet this morning that they love post hog? Do you know?
So there's this lady, Takotreva, she can't stop talking about post hog. I don't know what's her issue, but it seems like it's working really well for her. It's brilliantly built tool. It's like really good. Like one thing that I love about post hog, you have ability to connect two things that are super important, like the website and then the product itself. And you are able to kind of put these pieces together. And then you can also see where these people are coming from. And then if these channels are working or they are not working. And then you measure all of these things. It's kind of like putting all this story around the product and marketing and whatever you're doing together. It's just really good tool.
I love your passion. Speaking about passion.
Yeah.
There you go. I love it. Can I call you out on something though?
Please.
You had 2 mentions of post hog in the same tweet.
And
what is the percent? Yeah, what was the percentage of success?
Did you see that? There was one post hog written totally correctly, and the second was I wrote something differently. I mentioned some other guy. And then in the post, I said, I love you and I know how to use you and we should all use you. And now imagine that guy reading the post and being like, what the heck is this? Well, I'm sorry.
So there's like a real person that has the account where you made the typo?
Someone actually took a screenshot. I can't remember if the user is not existing or it's blocked or whatever it is. But I from that moment, I realized I really should read the tweets before I tweet them out. Anyway.
You know what this tells me? It tells me that you were just living the moment. Like you didn't really stop and think about it. You were just like, oh my God, I love post hog and I need to write about it. And you just went for it. Then you made the typos. All good. No problem.
Post hog made me happy this morning. That's why I wrote it, all of these things. And then in that moment, I didn't quite think about it.
Yeah. All right. We have an update, and I think I'm not exactly sure about the update itself because it's not about building, but I want to touch on the topic because I'm beginning to see this a lot. So Morris, he says, if you're wondering whether the text is AI generated, here are some signs: overly dramatic, context repetition, predictable and formulaic structure, awkward phrasing, grammatical funk. And then he has a tool to check this called GPT-0. The whole idea of polluting the internet with AI generated stuff that's not really helpful to anyone kind of grinds my gears, in the sense that I think people use it and think they will make connections maybe, or grow, or I don't know, maybe if your job is to reply to you're doing support or some stuff like that, you can use some of it. But if, for example, you're in our community, you're trying to build something, to be part of a community, to make some relationships, learn some things, I just don't think that's not the way to do it.
I mean, it's easy. We talked about this before, and I think it's so easy and to recognize these things. And I try to also explain to few people, like, I don't think you have to use AI. You don't have to build story around yourself with AI. And bear in mind, I use it daily. Like, I use AI daily. It checks my grammar. It helps me write a lot of things, but there is always something written before. It's nothing generated, and from the replies, it's like you really have to be careful, because I don't understand it.
Well, yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. It is something that you use to enhance your initial idea, like the initial human touch. And even for that, it does fail for me in a lot of cases. Even when I try to do a summary and that I get back the most generic thing ever, I'm like, I cannot use this. It's just so obviously AI written. But grammar, and I always, before I send the mail, I put it there just in case, and I ask, are there like some typos? Are there something? And it's great for that. And maybe you can take it to the next step, or maybe the other way around is also good. You need to write something, you need to do a piece, and you start by asking it to do an outline, and then you expand on that with your own words. I think that's a cool use case. But maybe in like half a year or a year, we're going to be there where is going to be good enough. But right now, it just comes off as not being very authentic, or just trying to take advantage of someone, even, in some cases, like with these replies where you think no one's going to notice, or I don't know what you think.
I mean, I told you about the guy that I have deeply connected over the replies.
Yes.
Of humans, and then realizing that it was AI this whole time. It was so disappointing. Disappointing.
Yeah. So you could tweak it. I think there are some extensions that if you tweak them enough, or maybe they even have a good prompt, it's becoming harder to identify this.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like half a year or a year, it's probably going to be impossible to tell which is which at the rate of improvement that we're saying. But I still don't think it's a good idea even then, because a lot of the things that we do online, you kind of show a little bit of your personality through it. And then what do you show with the AI replies? You show the AI's personality? I don't know. Maybe I'll change my mind later, but it's not a good vibe right now. That's for sure.
No, for sure. Especially if it's coming from a bad place. And I can understand if people are not comfortable or don't know how to express themselves and think that AI might help them. But, if it's coming from a bad place, and if it wants to trick or guide people, it's really, really bad. That's why we have community calls, and that's why I need to see people, and I need to talk with people and build different type of the connections, because this, as you said, might in a year or more than a year be very hard to see if it's real person or not.
Yeah, that's exactly the thing, that the human connection, like the authentic connection, is only going to be more and more valuable as the AI tools get better, and we're going to look for it, right?
Yeah.
It's already happening to some extent. So
yeah.
All right, Sandra, you want to take one very deep one by Greg?
Greg Gilbert. I don't force it. I stop typing and abandon the draft. I don't abandon it for now. Wait, I lost myself.
It's a deep one.
Let's try this one more time.
Okay.
I don't force it. I stop typing and abandon the draft. I don't abandon it for now. I abandon it forever. This week's post is about abandon the
Ab- abandoned projects. Abandoned drafts.
drafts. It would probably also apply to abandoned projects. Okay, Greg, you got me.
I really put you on the spot with this. So
Can you read this, please?
yes, but you did a great job. I think okay, I can summarize it from
Yeah.
what you read, which was very good, by the way, is that a draft, which in this case could be writing or MVP or like part of an MVP, right? When Greg stops, he doesn't abandon it for a little while. He just abandons it forever, never gets back to it. And I think this piece is about the fact that when you write something like a play or movie or even, just a piece on a newspaper, it takes several drafts before you get to something that you like.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, my own reflection on this is I think I align with it. If I feel like something's not going anywhere, then I also will abandon it forever. And I think that's kind of the mentality that a lot of people push when you're building. If it doesn't work, you give it, this amount of time and you drop it. You either sell it if it's a product, right? Or if it's writing, then you never publish it anywhere, and that's it. I see you have very deep thoughts on this.
I mean, I get your point, but I think it's very hard, or at least it's for me, it's very hard to abandon. I can't pronounce this word.
Abandon
it. Maybe it's just me, but I do tend to emotionally connect with the project I do. And it's really bad also. You really need to know when to stop.
So it's very difficult for you to abandon something?
Yeah.
But why is that? Is because you're invested in it?
I think so. I think I get emotionally connected. And it's also very personal. If something doesn't work, that realization of like, oh shit, maybe this is not a good idea, or I don't know how to make this work, or.
Yeah, I feel you. But that's not healthy at all, is it? Because I also put so much of myself in pride. And when someone's saying, what is this piece of junk, then you take it personally instead of separating yourself from the. If I tell you Clue is a piece of junk, which it's not, you will come after me.
Yeah, I would jump into this screen at this moment, and it might be shit for you. That's totally normal. You don't have maybe multiple different accounts or apps and etc. But it's very hard to see things more realistically, I guess.
Fair enough. Well, I have one thing to say. So I was talking so regarding abandoning things or moving on when you think things are not working out anymore. Have you heard about microassets? We were talking in the community about microassets, and one of the members of the community, Lewis, he's working on quite a lot of projects and tools and has launched a few apps. And then one of them, I believe it was called Roasted with AI, where you put your homepage and it takes like a screenshot of the whole page, and then it tells you some things you could improve, which is I think it's a cool little tool. And he had too many things on his plate and decided to sell it on microassets. And I don't know if it's different than abandoning, because abandoning in my mind, when you say that, is you just don't work on it anymore and you let it slowly die, right? But the alternative to that is to give it to someone else. And because of the same reason that you said before, because I'm so attached to my stuff, it's very hard for me to do it. This is a legit way to not abandon something, but to give it some new life, selling it. And I think micro assets is the kind of place where it's not really like acquire.com. It's a lot smaller. It's a lot more cozy. And I think Lewis sold his project for $2,000. So like this is the range, like 2,000 to maybe 10,000 most that you're gonna sell your project for, which is perfectly fine. I mean, it's better than just abandoning something and leaving it there. And a lot of people that I've seen don't go through this for some reason. They just say, well, the project failed. There's no point to put more work into it, and I'll just let it slowly rot and fade away. And yeah, there's a pretty good alternative. You get a little bit of money. I think it also makes you feel good that you didn't spend that time for nothing. That's one thing. And then the other thing is you perhaps gain some experience on how to sell a company, and then there might come one day where you make a sale for 20,000 or 200,000, and you have a little bit of experience of selling a company. So I don't have that as well, and it's super terrifying for me. I wouldn't know where to start to sell a company. I will just wish everyone a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Get some rest. I will do that. I need all the rest I can get. As I said in the beginning, I had some medical things this week, and it's gonna be good to sleep, take it easy. So I can't wait to do that. Rest is important. Don't forget to do it, and don't forget to go on morningmakershow.com for our newsletter, past episodes, transcript, or check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you next time on Monday, 8:30 CET.